Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video for our final speculation video about the Silence and the Fury. We've spoken about possible FLCs, we've spoken about possible units, but now we need to look towards legendary heroes. Legendary heroes have been in Total War Warhammer for quite some time now, but it was only recently in the Twisted and the Twilight where the system was finally perfected. The previous way they were introduced was just not good. In fact, when we finally got them in the Twisted and the Twilight, I praised it heavily. And given how everyone else seemed to be so highly welcoming of this new legendary hero system, well, then it's very likely that we might see some in the Silence and the Fury. This hasn't been confirmed just yet, but it would be a massive shame if it wasn't the case. So we only currently know 2 legendary lords, and that means that we can only really speculate for both their respective factions. So let's start off with the Lizardmen first. Oxyotl obviously is the silence part of the Silence and the Fury, and there are a few missing legendary characters. Unfortunately, really none of them fit around his theme. Of the remaining characters, 3 stand out as possible legendary heroes. The first would be Taurux, the Eternity Warden. This character is a temple guard, which is known to be quite the bodyguard. He never leads armies, but rather stays in the defensive lines. Very popular and widely requested, though most people want to see him taking defense of Mazda Mundi, and it could be the case where a legendary character could be introduced for a different character. There's nothing to really explicitly say that a DLC character must be included in Oxyotl's faction, and this could work quite well. Since none of the characters themselves are really linked to Oxyotl, it could be done well where you'd pay for Taurux, but then he'd be sent to Mazda Mundi, which would then give the player a reason to play Mazda Mundi again. He's an impressive fighter. In fact, the lore specifically states that not a single Slan has ever died under his protection. Again, you can see that the lore mentions that he usually only works to defend Slans, so I don't think he would be there to protect a random chameleon skink, unless the Slan mentioned that it's very important that he stay alive, though I don't see that happening. It very much depends though on how Creative Assembly want to take the story forward. Another possible character is Tetoeko, the astronomer of the constellations. Many expect this character to be a possible legendary lord in the future, and I don't blame them because he is rather special. A skink priest whose power actually has gotten to the point of rivaling very weak Slan, which, as some of you know in the lore, it's very rare for a skink priest to be so magically powerful. It's also the case that the lore does place Tetoeko and Oxyotl in at least one scenario, where some Skaven assassins were planning to ambush Mazda Mundi, so obviously Oxyotl jumped right in to stop this from happening. Now, of course, that's not a lot of lore to link them both up together. However, it could be done in a certain way. Tetoeko is a character who can see very much into the future, making many predictions which will or will not happen. In most cases they will, however with prior knowledge of these events, circumstances can be put into place, like for example stopping a building from burning down and so on. So what we know about the plot with this DLC is that Taurux is trying to become completely invincible, and he's trying to complete a ritual which will remove his weak spot. It's unlikely that something so dangerous would go without Tetoeko's knowledge, and something like this would need to be dealt with as soon as possible. The last thing anyone wants is a nigh-on invincible Doomball smashing everything in his path and not being able to be taken down. So this could be a good reason to have Tetoeko be a legendary hero as a form of a scribe and seer for Oxyotl. He is my personal choice as I think he would work rather well, but there is a third character which, brace yourself, Incy Wincy. A rather unknown character from way back in 5th edition, and what makes him special is he was the original Horned One rider, and all the skinks that he leads tend to ride atop of Cold Ones. Now, there's nothing really too special about him, all his lore pins him against the Norse, but it's the thing about the Silence and the Fury, we're expecting the Lizardmen to be very focused on skirmishing combat, so what better than skinks riding atop of Cold Ones and Horned Ones? Minor characters such as these do work very well as legendary heroes. We've already seen that with Goris, so it could also be very possible with Incy Wincy. It's yeah, you know, just something that could work thematically and would look rather nice. Plus, if he gets added in, then there's no reason not to add in the Lizardmen riding on top of Cold Ones, because, yeah, I mean, that kind of works out very well. Now we look towards the Beastmen, of course, which there are a few options. First, we'll start off with Ungrel Fourhorn. He's, well, a loser. Yeah, that's the best way I could say it. Ungrel is known to lead armies of Gors, mutants, and freaks because he himself was bullied and eventually snapped. Not a legendary lord material, but potentially a legendary hero as someone who could be quite opportunistic and would follow around Taurux's path of destruction to get the scraps, more or less. That's probably the best way I could explain this character, as he's quite pitiful and never really had his own official model. Though keep in mind that a lot of Beastmen characters were established in lore, even given rules, but didn't have their own official model too. Now we can speak about two possible characters at once, Moonclaw and Slugtongue. Both are well-known spellcasters throughout the Beastmen ranks. And the thing is that they would be there to act as advisors, more or less. Taurux is well known not to want to take any orders, even from demons themselves, so I don't think that something like a lowly Bray Shaman like Slugtongue, or even a chaotic infused anomaly, which is Moonclaw, would be able to be there to do much to offer him. They're both really cool characters, don't get me wrong, and they could possibly act in his behalf or possibly work under him, with him tolerating them, but I don't know how this is going to work, more or less. Before anyone says anything, also keep in mind that Taurux is not known to be blessed by Khorne. The army book actually states that he is blessed by all four Chaos Gods, so it's a very weird situation here, because he is the Brass Bull, he's a blood beast, he's very much known with anything Khorne aesthetically, but he's blessed by all four. So it's not like he would be so inclined to stay away from spellcasters, which means that either of these two would work rather well, but I just don't see it happening. The last character, of course, is Goris Warhoof, which is a hero character from back in the day, and he could work out in a very interesting sense, though, I don't know, Goris doesn't seem to fit too well. It's one of these things where I'm just leaning towards Ungrel Fourhorn more than anything, and of course this is pure speculation. Goris kind of stands out to me as a possible FLC character, as a legendary lord rather than a legendary hero, more so than Moonclaw or Slugtongue, as we already have a legendary caster lord, so it would be cool to see a cavalry based legendary lord in the future too. I'm gonna go with my predictions here. If we end up getting legendary heroes for the Silence and the Fury, thematically I think that we're gonna get Tetoeko for the Lizardmen, as he fits well with Oxyotl, and Ungrel Fourhorn, a pitiful character which is there to act as a sort of scavenger and servant to Taurux the Brass Bull for the Beastmen. Again, this is pure speculation, and I'm not talking about a possible FLC legendary hero because we don't really know where the FLC is going to. But what do you guys think about these possible characters as the legendary heroes for the Silence and the Fury? Or do you think other characters would be best suited? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.